Welcome back. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is over exponents. I know that we talked a little bit about these when we were going over area and going over volume, because we would see that tiny little 2 or that tiny little 3 that was with centimeters or inches. And so it was centimeters squared or centimeters cubed. And so we talked briefly about what that meant, but this lesson is going to dig into the vocabulary and then tell you how to solve problems when there's exponents. And then we're going to relate it to order of operations. So this is definitely a 6th grade skill, but we think you guys are going to do fantastic with it. So first thing is the vocabulary. So we have 2 numbers here. We have the larger number, and then after we have the little tiny number. The larger number, this is called the base. So let's see. That's called the base. And this is going to be your number that is the one that is repeating. Okay. Then the little tiny 5, that is the exponent. Sorry, I'm trying to write with a pen on my computer, and so it's not the easiest, but I'll get better at it as we go. All right. So that's the exponent. So what this means, the base is the number that repeats, and the exponent is telling me how many times that number repeats. So I can make a number grow, we call it exponentially. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So what I've done is my base, which is 2, is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And notice that this is multiplication. So a mistake that people often make is they say, oh, 2 times 5 is 10. But that would be if we were adding 2 over and over again. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. So this would equal 32. 2 to the power of 5 is equal to 32. Okay, let's try another one. Gotta change it back to here. Okay, 3 to the power of 4. And if you remember, you can pause at any time, right? So pause if you need to pause, and you can also get out a sheet of paper and you could work it out first. Pause the question, work it out first, and then play me back to see if you're getting it right, okay? So instead of just watching me, kind of do it interactive. Have a sheet of paper, scratch sheet of paper, and be working some of them yourself to see if you're understanding. So I have 3 to the power of 4. So I am going to use 3 as my base, 4 as my exponent. So that means 3 is going to repeat 4 times. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, again, this is not 3 times 4, which is 12. That would be adding 3 over and over again. So I could break this down. I could say, okay, well, 3 times 3 is 9. And this 3 times 3 is 9. And then bring down my multiplication sign. And 9 times 9 is 81. So 3 to the power of 4 equals 81. Okay, next one. 4 to the power of 3. So this one has 4 repeating 3 times because 3 is my exponent. So 4 times 4 times 4. And it's always good to write it out. So a lot of times, you might be saying, oh, I'll just do it in my head, 4 times 4 times 4. But if you write it out, that way you can cross them off as you do them, because your numbers, you might have 4 to the power of 7. You might have something much larger than this. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is going to be 64. So 4 to the power of 3, or we could say 4 cubed. Remember when it's the little 3, that could be cubed, or the little 2 means squared. So 4 to the power of 3 equals 64. Okay, so this next one, don't let it overwhelm you, okay? It just is adding another step. So when this happens, we would always want to do our exponents first. So I'm going to solve 6 to the power of 3. I'm going to get my answer, and then I'm going to subtract 62 from that. So let's come over here. So I'm going to do 6 times 6 times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6. I don't know that one in my head. Let me pull over to the side here. Woo! Sorry, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18, 19, 20, 21. So 216. So 6 to the power of 3 is 216. And so my last step is to subtract 62 from that. So I would say 216 minus 62. So that would be 4. Cross this off, make it a 1, which makes that an 11. 11 minus 6 is going to be 5, and that would be a 1. So this would equal 154. Okay, so let me scoot down a little bit here. One of the things that we learned this year right before Christmas was about order of operations. And so you might have heard your teacher say PIMDAS or GYMDAS, and that's the order that you go in. And you will definitely hear this in 6th grade. So the first thing that we always talked about was we have to do any of our parentheses or any of our grouping symbols first. So these would be parentheses or grouping symbols. I'm still always going to do those first, okay? Now, we never even talked about the E, okay? The E we left out because we don't learn that until 6th grade, but we're going ahead and teaching that to you now. So E stands for exponents. So like the little 2s, right? Or little 3 or little 4. It can be any number, okay? The M and the D stand for multiply and divide. And remember, we put these, we don't necessarily always multiply first and then divide. These can be flipped around. So if division comes first in my problem, I would divide first. So we put them next to each other because they're on the same playing field, okay? We have to decide what goes first based on what's in the problem left to right. And then the last one is addition or subtraction. And remember, those can also be flipped. So if subtraction comes before addition, then we need to do subtraction before addition. So now we're going to do a couple problems where we apply that. So first thing, do I have any parentheses? No. Next thing, I go to my E. Do I have exponents? Yes, I do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cross this off. I'm going to solve this. So 8 times 8. And I always write it out because I don't want to make the mistake of doing 8 times 2. So I write it out that way. I kind of help my mind think in the right direction. So 8 times 8 is 64. Okay. And just how we did before, we're going to bring everything down. And then we go to our next step. So we've done parentheses, we've done exponents. Now we're at multiply or divide, whichever comes first, left to right. Well, I only have multiplication in this problem. So 64, and remember, you can pause at any point, work ahead, okay, see if you're doing it right, and then, play me back and see if you have the right answer. So that's 16, 24, 25, okay. So that equals 256, and I only have one step left, add the 11 to that, and so that would be 267. Alrighty. All right, we got 2 more examples. All right, so this one, I'm trying to pick a color here. Do I have any parentheses? Yes. I need to do everything inside my parentheses first. Well, 6 to the power of 2, I would do that before I add 7 to that. So I'm going to cross it off, come up here and do 6 times 6. So I keep my mind in the right direction because I don't want to accidentally do 6 times 2. So 6 times 6 is 36. Bring down my plus 7. I have to keep the parentheses because I have not done everything inside of those yet. Next, I'm going to do 36 plus 7. So I come over to the side here, 36 plus 7. That gives me 43. Okay, bring down my times 7. So I have my last step because I've done everything in my parentheses now. So 43 times 7. So it'd be 21, 28, 29, 30. So my answer is 301. Okay, and my last one, I'm going to do 5 to the power of 2. So I'm going to do 5 times 5. So I didn't have any parentheses in this one. So that's going to be 25. Bring everything down around it. I multiply or divide, whichever comes first, left to right. I don't have any. And then I add or subtract, whichever comes first, left to right. Subtraction comes first here. So I have to subtract before I add. So 56 minus 25. That's going to be 31. I'm going to add 2 to that. And so my answer is going to be 33. Okay, so what you're going to do is there's going to be 10 questions. It's going to be on a Google form for you to fill out. If you get stuck or are struggling with one, you can always replay this and look back again, okay? There is lots of different resources for order of operations with exponents. So if you're stuck, contact myself or Mr. Touchstone, and we are happy to help you. Or you are, welcome to search some stuff online and see if that helps. But just make sure we're not doing negative numbers yet. Okay, we're staying with just positive answers right now. All right, good luck, you guys.